conversation with us. So thank you guys. That was amazing. As you heard, I think the biggest thing is we had a conversation with our staff earlier this week, and we're not looking to change the structure of this building, the academics of what's happening in this building. We're really looking to create that partnership with Cornell so that this word adoption really does mean something in terms of how they are supporting what's happening in this building. So I'm just going to stop right there and kind of take your questions, because I know with our staff we had a lot of questions that by now you guys might have some wonderings. Yes?
What is the student maximum capacity and how many students would we have now compared to that number?
So the question was, what's the student maximum capacity compared to now? What could happen later on? My hunch, and I'd have to find out that exactly, I believe the capacity of this building is around somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 students. So we are a school that's considered under capacity. We probably operate under about 40%. It's always been a concern that either a charter school or a special District 75 school could be placed in this building. So for us right now, we are looking to expand. And we have been expanding as the new buildings have gone up. This year we have about 550 kids enrolled in school, including pre-K. Right? Including pre-K. 536, including pre-K. So, other questions?
If you start this process now, and it gets approved and everything goes along, will this be for September 2015, September 2016, or January? Like, what's actually the time?
I don't know exactly. It could be 2015 if it happened that quickly, but it could be as long as 2016.
There's no timeline on the full process. The timeline is you have to submit before March 1, the prior school year. So in terms of however long it takes to get to the chancellor, maybe up to 2 years.
I just wasn't sure if prior school year meant, you do it in March, then is September like a new school year? Or not? I guess I wasn't sure.
Depends on when the chancellor gets it.
So the other thing beyond the process from the DOE is the part about allowing Cornell to allow us to adopt their name. The conversation that I had with Diane Levitt, our contact, was that Cornell is a trademark name, and that this is a conversation to be had with Cornell, and that it's their lawyers that need to get back to us, not so much her conversation with us directly with parents, but we're still waiting from her to present to us the very specifics from the lawyers that say this can or cannot be happening, which I think is what the parents and our conversations over the next few weeks should be about, should be around. Yes?
So if they do agree that this will be happening, will there be some sort of contract?
They didn't agree.
If they will.
We didn't get to that point.
Right.
Right now we've gotten to a point of sharing with them that there's an interest on the school's level, on the parent level, to incorporate their name in our building, but they haven't agreed to it yet.
But they have adopted the school.
But they adopted the school, it was about 2 years ago when they did kind of present to the city
And
what
is
they
there
were
a
doing.
contract?
There's a contract that says that they adopted the school. Yes. It's in their lease with the city.
Understanding.
Yep.
And in the contract, does it state what they're going to be doing for the school? Or is it just...
The contract was similar to, there was one slide which talked about STEM, which talked about teacher professional development, a list of things that we had shared with them that we thought would be a great way for them to support us. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do as we meet with them. We've gotten to meeting with them a little more consistently in terms of monthly meetings, and our goal moving forward is to make sure there are more actionable items that are happening, so that we can share it with you guys, the parents, because the only concrete thing that I can share with you was the Girls That Code. That was the only thing that they paid for and they made happen 2 summers ago.
I don't think they're paying for it because it isn't paid for.
Oh, so they didn't pay for it. They created that opportunity for us. I take that back. And right now, we're in the same position where they've had given us lots of ideas to look into, but we're looking for more concrete things. Knowing that they have a lot more resources, they're a larger institution, that we do feel that they need to be a greater support than what they've already been doing for us so far.
I totally agree, and that's why I was wondering whether there's something put in writing that they could no longer avoid later on.
I don't know, but we'll come back to that question again. Yes.
So by renaming it, we're sort of pushing them to have more of a participation in it.
I mean, in essence, we do want them to have a greater support of this building, so yes.
And offer more funding.
And offer more funding.
Any funding, I think, is more.
Many of our conversations always come back to, they don't have money. They can't give us money. And that's always been the answer to us every time we've had meetings in terms of requests for things. The one place where I say the school is lucky is that our city council, in terms of the various people, Ben Callows, Jessica Lappin, Gifford Miller, have always been extremely generous in supporting us with technology in this building. But the DOE also has limitations as to how you can spend that technology. So for example, iPads are not something that you could use this funding for. But we have all those active boards, we have computers. So that's the part where we're trying to figure out, is there something else that Cornell could be doing for us there? We're in the process of creating our wish list so that when we have conversations with Diane and them, we can kind of share with them saying, here are the things that we're looking to move towards. Other questions? Yes.
My big concern is, I get the branding to bring parents in, but as one of the class parent liaisons, I'm the parent that gets the emails as far as like, why are you asking for so much fundraising? Asking me to fundraise every month. My big concern is we're going to have parents come into the school thinking we're now a Cornell school, and Cornell isn't really giving us anything yet financially. And that's going to create problems for parents saying, I thought my child was coming to a school that's being partially funded by Cornell, and it's not. If we change our name, how do we hold them accountable if they don't step up to the plate? I mean, I know they made an agreement with the city to, they adopted us, but what does that mean? How do we actually hold them accountable if they then are not stepping up to the plate financially? Is there a way?
I think part of that is bringing elected officials in because they did agree to certain terms in a memorandum of understanding, and there are certain officials that are responsible for seeing that gets carried out. So while they didn't commit to a specific amount of funding, it was definitely implied in the agreement. So I think we would bring pressure to bear and community pressure as well.
Do you feel that once we have their name, and if they are not stepping up to the plate, it gives us more leverage then to...
I personally feel it does, and I think most people feel that way because I don't think they want their name on something that is not living up to the Cornell expectations. So I think that is...
That's my daughter. She does this every time there's a concert.
Yeah.
Yes.
So because we contractually have said that, Cornell contractually said that they're going to adopt the school. So if the school is renamed, would there be addendum to the contract or a new contract to say, now that Cornell's name will be this one, the following or something in writing to hold them accountable?
None of us have ever been in this situation of renaming a school. The person who was a part of the first naming of the school was Miss Lorraine over here, so she was a part of that first time around. It's almost like a learning process for all of us, so the questions that you're bringing up right now are things that we will have to start thinking about so that when we get to that point, we can take control over it as opposed to being reactive, but be proactive towards it. So I have to say that after this meeting, if you do have any questions or concern, definitely we'll let you know who of the parents that you guys can be emailing, probably Fiona, in terms of Cornell questions or concerns, so that when our team does meet, we can kind of review it and have those conversations and think about how we're communicating answers to you guys so that everyone's on the same page.
And just as a note to that, I mean, I think, as Ms. Beckman said, we're going to bring a wish list to Cornell, and I think some of how that's codified will depend on their reaction and what they're willing to do.
But we're not waiting for Cornell to start coding in this building. Let me start right there. Our fifth graders right now are taking 1 period a week of coding with Ms. Consiglio, and they love it. It's been a great experience. She went to a free Saturday program, gave up her time with our tech consultant to learn about code.org, and she's kind of learning and teaching as she's going, which is successful. And then our middle school math teacher went to a PD this summer. Again, she wasn't paid to go. She spent 3 days to learn about Bootstrap. which is a coding program. I can't tell you the specifics, but she's been doing that once a week with our 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders. And so we are looking at the different ways that we're incorporating technology in already what we're doing, academically with our teaching. So we're not looking to wait, but we do want Cornell support in a different way, so we can elevate it in a different way. And at the same time, going back to what you heard the chancellor say, she really wants us to be able to retain kids. She really believes in the public school system and that parents should be able to go to their local community and be happy with the schools that's in their community, and that we really believe that this is an amazing school. Families haven't really discovered this yet, and that we're looking to promote it and make sure that everyone knows that there's something amazing happening here, pre-K through 8th grade, that more families should be selecting us or retaining and staying. So that's like a long-term vision and goal for us as well.
Are there any more questions?
I have been nominated to take your vote.